Buongiorno, Jeremy Rifkin, siamo al TOSM a Torino, all'Oval, e grazie per averci concesso un'intervista. Oggi ha parlato tantissimo del modello terza rivoluzione industriale che dovrebbe unire la rivoluzione digitale, quindi internet, con anche una rivoluzione in campo energetico, quindi trovare nuove risorse alternative all'energia attuale, alla dipendenza dal petrolio. Abbiamo twittato il suo intervento e sono arrivate tantissime domande dai lettori per questa video intervista, per cui le leggerei subito una domanda. I'm going to be reading you. Partendo dal presupposto che la gestione del nostro Stato non è realmente in mano ai nostri politici, ma in mano alle multinazionali utilizzando i lobbisti, non crede che ci vorrebbero regole più stringenti sulla possibilità di essere eletti, visto che i parlamentari scelgono per tutti noi?
What's interesting is that we are in the midst of a great paradigm shift. We're moving from a second industrial revolution based on elite energies, fossil fuels, nuclear power, because fossil fuels and uranium are only found in a few places. They require huge military and geopolitical investments, lots of capital, and they scale vertically, so they rely on large centralized production facilities and logistics chains and supply chains. And so you get an economy that's pretty much centralized and top down. And our political landscape tends to be more centralized and top down in terms of political parties in every country. And there's a relationship there. What's interesting about the third industrial revolution is that it scales laterally. The third industrial revolution sees the coming together of the internet with green electricity, green renewable energy. The internet is distinguished as a communication tool because it isn't the same as what I grew up on. I grew up on telephone, radio, and television, which are organized centrally, top down, telecommunications of the 20th century. What's interesting about the internet is it's distinguished because it scales distributed and collaborative, and the power is lateral power, side by side. So today we have 2.3 billion people, mostly young, a third of the planet's population, who can take a little cell phone or a small desktop computer in their hand and send their own video, audio, and text to all the other 2 billion people at the same time, at the speed of light, with far more distributed collaborative power, lateral power, than the centralized telecommunication networks of the 20th century. And so we have a generation that's growing up with the idea that, that sharing information is their right, and that information should be virtually free. What's happening now in the last 24 months, especially in Germany, is that this internet revolution, communication revolution, is now merging with a new energy regime, distributed energies. And when the internet begins to manage distributed energies, we have a completely new economic revolution. Distributed energies are energies that are found everywhere. The sun, the wind, the heat under the ground, the garbage converted back to energy, rural agricultural waste, ocean tides and waves. These green energies, renewable energies, are found in every square inch of the world. They're distributed. Taking that information technology and democratizing energy. It's going to change everything, and it's going to change politics fundamentally.
Scrive David Osimo: personalmente sono d'accordo che l'apertura, la condivisione e la collaborazione aiutino, ma l'interdipendenza estrema è anche alla radice della crisi finanziaria e l'apertura non sempre paga. Ad esempio, l'impresa più innovativa degli ultimi anni, Apple, è anche una delle più chiuse. Lei pensa che il futuro sia più di Google, cioè aperta, o che di Apple, chiusa?
I think there's a struggle going on between whether the third industrial revolution is going to be truly distributed and lateral and open, or whether some will try to institutionally concentrate it. But in the final analysis, you cannot beat distributed power. Let me give you an example. The music companies, they didn't understand file sharing of music. All of a sudden, millions of young kids apparently had nothing else to do after school but collaborate with each other to create software to share all the music across the world. And the music companies thought it was a joke. And then they got worried. Then they went out of business. And the newspapers, as you know, did not understand the power of the blogosphere. Why would millions of people freely share their knowledge, information, and news with each other? Now the newspapers are either creating blogs or they're going out of business. So what I think is happening is that the old guard thinks top-down. Power is pyramidal. the young generation thinks of power as side by side, lateral power. It really does change the gestalt, as we say. It changes the way our mind actually organizes reality. But I think it's a struggle. So I think we have to start to readjust our consciousness to this new reality.
Giovanni Maddaloni is asking, what do you think of natural gas? Che cosa pensa del gas naturale?
Well, natural gas, I think, is a suitable transition strategy, but it doesn't give us much time.
Di Marco Ciaramella, volevo chiedere se ho ben capito che aveva proposto di utilizzare l'idrogeno come vettore energetico non da usare nel luogo del consumo, ma addirittura da distribuire con un complesso sistema di tubi e pompe. Come mai non fosse adeguata la rete di distribuzione tradizionale basata sulla conversione di energia elettrica, che è già molto efficiente, diffusa e consolidata?
It isn't because the wind isn't always blowing when you need the electricity. Look at Italy. There are times when there's no sun.
Yeah.
You know, I've been here in the last...
Parliamo del futuro del Piemonte e di Torino, come può essere organizzato in maniera efficiente.
I've been here for the last few days and I've had the opportunity, first I was in Milan and had the opportunity to talk with the new mayor of Milan and the city council. Then I came here and I saw my old friend Mr. Fassimo, who's now the new mayor and a terrific guy. And what's interesting about this region, both Lombardy and Piedmont, is the corridor from Milan to Torino is the powerhouse of Italy, and it's the powerhouse of Europe. What distinguishes Italy is it has the most powerful network of small and medium-sized enterprises in the world. The Brits can't compete with you, the French. When you take a look at this region, but all of Italy from Rome north, but especially this region that extends, I would say, from Milan to Torino, you have all of the critical companies that would be instrumental to the 5 pillars of the third industrial revolution.
Molti lettori hanno chiesto, hanno apprezzato i libri del professor Rifkin, gli hanno chiesto, ma secondo lei questa Italia di oggi, così malandata dal punto di vista politico, economico e ambientale, può risorgere? Quali sono le 2 o 3 cose realistiche che secondo lei potrebbe fare il bel paese per un futuro diverso, migliore dell'attuale? Che cosa dovrebbe cambiare?
I mean, that's multi-part. I think let's first talk about the changes. You have a new prime minister, Mr. Monti, very well respected all over the world. You have a breath of fresh air crossing this country right now, and some expectations. Now let me say, I've been meeting with heads of state and government leaders in the last several weeks in Europe, and what I'm saying to them is this. Yes, austerity. Everyone's talking austerity, but let's be clear. Austerity is coming, but it has to be based on a set of principles that represent the European way of life. Meaning, number 1, do not compromise the social market model. That's the imprimatur of Europe. 2, make sure that no Italian falls behind in the way to the future. 3, ensure that the European dream, which is quality of life, is not eroded. And then 4, make sure that with austerity that we do not compromise sustainability with our environment. Then, once those principles are upheld, we still have to make cuts. There are plenty of places to make cuts without compromising those 4 principles. But if we only are making cuts, we're doomed.
Lei ha detto power to the people. Now you said power to the people. Il potere...
We overused that in 1968, but the good news is there's been so much time passing, the young people have no idea of that history. It's really distributed, but it's lateral power. We did power to the people. This is actually lateral power.
Lateral power.
It's different, but it has a, because lateral power means we have the technology now to share information, to share energy, to share business, to collaborate in these smart spaces that are intelligent.
La domanda era perché è così ottimista, che cosa vede nell'Italia che può funzionare, perché il suo messaggio è molto positivo ma è un momento di crisi pazzesca.
Well, you know,
perché è così ottimista di questa possibilità?
I teach at the Wharton School. It's the oldest business school in the world. I was a student there 45 years ago. I'm a pretty old guy. And I teach business leaders from all over the world. It's the leading business school in the world. When they come to their first day, I say to them, always look to see where the problem is or where the crisis is, because that's where the opportunity is.
Yeah.
You always got to find what is the crisis, then you'll know your opportunity.
Now, how long do you think it will take to reach the goals that you're setting?
Well, if it follows the same path as the first and second industrial revolution, The first industrial revolution and the second industrial revolution both laid down their infrastructures in 25 years. So now we've got to build this third industrial revolution infrastructure.
Now, the next question is about the euro. Many are skeptical about the fact that we should be staying in the euro as a currency and in Europe in general. Now, do you have an answer for them? I mean, is the euro as a currency and Europe as a united federation of countries, do you think that's, I mean,
you better hope the euro,
yeah.
better hope the euro, that this crisis leads to a deepening of fiscal responsibility across Europe. And the answer is fairly straightforward. What do you want for Italy? If you eliminate the euro and eliminate the European Union as a playing field, then your children have a smaller and smaller place to make their future. You want to go back to little Italy, little Sweden, little France, little Germany, where there are fewer possibilities, fewer options. You have a younger generation here, especially the Erasmus kids, but you have a younger generation here in Italy. They feel they're Italian, and they may feel that they're from Piedmont, but they also feel they're European, and they also feel they're part of the global society. These old ideas of borders don't make sense in a third industrial revolution. One, create a single internal market for 500 million people and an additional 500 million people in your partnership regions. Two, reach the 2020 objectives of becoming the first green, sustainable, post-carbon society in the world. And three, realize the European dream. This is a great dream that the younger generation in Europe has. The dream's based on the fact that we should have a good quality of life. That's a community exercise. It means each of us are responsible for each other to create a quality of life. Two, we build bridges of peace. The European vision is to move from the geopolitics of a top-down world to the biosphere politics of a lateral world. And three, we need to begin to live in a society where the economy allows everyone an opportunity, not only to be an entrepreneur, but to collaborate and share in deep social commons. That's the dream of the October 15th movement, and that's lateral power.
And I think this is a good ending for...
No, my knees.
Thank you very much.